Abundance flows to me when I get out of my own way. Life is so easy when I focus on what is great. I am worthy of reciprocated energy. I am worthy of a love that loves as deep as me. I am worthy of aligning with my higher self. I am worthy of desiring miracles.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Crazy Talk. I'm so thrilled to have you guys tuned in yet again for another week. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the podcast. First, I'd like to start off by saying I can't see anything. So if you see me squinting, it's because I literally cannot even see my own eyeballs. It looks like I'm squinting, but when I played it back, I was not. But anyways, I'm not wearing my glasses because the glare was just horrible, and I don't have my contacts currently. Oh my God, I hope this video is not shaking too much. But anyways, so yeah, I'm going blind today. Also, look at the plants, yes. I'm in between setting up my studio how I would like, so my aesthetic can look how I want. But for today, we are on the couch. But anyways, I keep forgetting what I want to address. And also I would like to address the fact that you guys may have noticed that a bunch of episodes have been removed. And that's because I really did a deep dive into my podcast, and I really wanted to get realigned to the main goals I wanted to pursue when launching this podcast. And, you know, my ADHD ass, I easily get off topic. And I feel like that's what I really did there. I posted a bunch of episodes that, I mean, they still cover my borderline personality disorder journey. You know, they're still about that, so they still have some relevance, but it's not really the goal I set out to attain, you know? But for only $3 a month, you can subscribe to the show and you can access all that content, plus many, many hours more bonus content. One episode a week is really hard enough for me, but you know, I do want that side series out there. I won't commit to a time, a weekly schedule, but those will be posted on there, maybe like an early access thing. I don't know. But there's also going to be more features coming soon, like an email list, and stuff like that. Awesome stuff. So it's only $3 a month. Subscribe if you would like that. Don't subscribe if you don't. It's cool either way. No pressure. But I totally love if you did, because it definitely supports me, my show, and helps me attain the goals I set out when launching this podcast. And that's just helping other people. That's all I want to do. But anyways, today's episode will be BPD in the workplace. And I don't know about y'all. I'm sure a lot of y'all do. According to my Facebook page and my groups and stuff, this is a blah, 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 blah. This is a fairly common problem. But us with borderline personality disorder, we tend to have quite a startling resume, because at first glance we look, really unstable. We job hop, and we don't last long. Usually on average, I average about 4 W-2s a year. Okay. 1 year I've had 1, but still that was a goal I set to pursue that year, like only 1 job, and I held on. So you can too. But yes, we tend to jump from job to job. We tend to get really attached That's really my problem. I get really attached to a job. I will go 110% all in. I will be there any hour and every hour. Oh my God. I will be there literally anytime they ask me. I'm in contact with all the managers. I literally put my life into my job. And everybody loves that. They all love that until you no longer tolerate the bullshit they keep dishing out. And that's always been my problem. And at first, I really thought the problem was with me, but I now realize that, really it's American culture. The work culture we have cultivated in America is treacherous. It's modern day slavery. I talked about this in the last episode. It's literally modern day slavery. And I'm not here to spend my life as a slave for somebody making way more and you can't even pay me enough to live by myself, to afford an apartment. I don't think so. You can't respect me enough to treat me like a decent human being. I don't think so. But there are still steps and things we can take to just ignore it because, like most people, like my one friend, we were talking about her job, they can just handle it. They can tolerate the bullshit, and they just shove it down and just like, it is what it is. They put in their 40 hours a week, they go home, and then they're just done with it. But with people like us with borderline personality disorder, it's very hard for us to just put something down and not think about it. And that's also where it becomes a problem with work culture, where they develop this sense of dehumanization in us, right? Like, what's it called? Leave your problems at the door, because everything at life can just be dropped and not thought about till after you leave this place. Very difficult when you have borderline personality disorder. Very, very difficult. There have been many times I'm literally just crying, just sobbing the whole 8 hours. And they'll just be like, keep up the good work. But yes, so we tend to go in, give our all. We get, we're very emotional beings. So that whole leaving your problems at the door just doesn't really work for us. And also, some of us have problems with authority. I know that was a big, big issue. Still a bit is. I do not like being told what to do. And yeah, so those main things can really cause a problem with us. Those things can really cause a problem with us keeping and maintaining a job. And when we go all in, the problem with going all in like that for us is when we don't feel reciprocated, like that feeling's reciprocated, like the job won't go all in to make sure that we are okay, or they won't be like, oh, respect that we need a break, respect, like, it's just like, it's like when they don't really show that they appreciate that or value that is when it really becomes a problem. And for me, my last job, I was just, oh my God. I'm getting triggered just thinking about it. My last job, I worked my ass off. Okay. It was the nicest job I've ever had. I literally had a panic attack going in for my interview because it was such a nice hotel. I was like, there's no way. I don't fit in here. There's no way I could work here, right? But of course, they loved me. I'm a very personable person. I have exceptional experience. The only thing that holds me back is usually me or my record. Okay. Thanks. That's another episode. Actually, that'll probably be on one of those extra episodes. But anyways, so I got the job and I was trained by this most wonderful lady ever. She was the best person I could have ever been trained by. But then I got put on the second shift. And it all went downhill. I got trained how to do my job properly, how to be efficient, how to handle this workload. And like, I just was doing everything other people want to do. So like when I went on to second shift, like I carried that hard work ethic that they taught me, like in the morning shift, like the stuff to do. When I brought it on the day shift, everybody was like, we're not doing all that. Even though we were repeatedly told by the higher up boss that we needed to be doing it. So like this was this was a hotel on base. So we handled like it was 99% all soldiers, their families and stuff like that. So with that, like we had to match up, like it was like a training stuff and all that. So like if they were here for school, we had to match up them and make sure everything was paid for and add up. And it was literally like 100 sheets of papers we have to go through, make sure everything was matched up in the system. I would be the only one doing it. And you know, it really bothered me seeing everybody just goofing around on their phone, not doing anything, while I'm just sitting here working the entire 8 hours, right? And then I would get, oh my God, you're so great. You're just so amazing. I wish everybody could be like you. And then here's where the downfall started to come. When my head boss whispered in my ear and was like, hey, come here. I'm like, what's up? Like, I immediately jumped to the I'm in trouble. She was like, you have supervisor experience, right? I'm like, absolutely. That's what I was doing before this. That's what I've been doing for years. I love being a supervisor, obviously, since I don't like figures of authority. But I love being a supervisor. And if that position was available, I would definitely be doing it. And she's like, well, one's opening up soon because we have a supervisor leaving. And I think you should go for it. So when your boss tells you that, who is also doing the interviews, you're like, I got this, right? She's like, just as a formality, you still need to apply. We got to interview. I'm like, okay, I got this down. I have the experience. I've worked in much harder places and they all love me. Like the general manager is patting me on the back, talking about, oh my God, you're amazing. The assistant general manager is like, I'm rooting for you. Like you deserve this job. So when I found out that I did not get the job and they gave it to her friend, who was already a supervisor in a different department, who was an old supervisor of this department, I got very suicidal. I felt that all my value was just thrown out the window. All my hard work was just unseen. I was like, what the hell is the point in doing this? Like every time I start a new job, it's at the base level. I have, oh my God, I'm 27. I'm not 27. I don't know how old I am. I'm about to be 27, I think. And I've been working since I was 15. So I have 12 years of experience. And at least like 5 of that is supervisor history. I was the youngest supervisor at a freaking production company who was getting the best scores. Oh, I don't, I deserve that job. And then for her to give it to her friend was just, it was like a stab in the back to me. Even though I knew I was more than qualified, I knew I deserved it, I took it really hard, as most of us probably would with BPD, because things feel a lot more personal to us, especially when we're putting in so much hard work, so much dedication. You try to not let your hopes get up, but especially with BPD, like we start dreaming about 10 years down the future. I could see it. Like I was dreaming it. I was basically all but living it, The pay was exceptional. Would have been. I would have never made so much money in my life. I was planning what we could do, how we could save money, how we could do all the things we needed to do, get our car fixed, struggle a lot less. Because that money was just a lot more money than I was used to. So it would have just really helped us because we were really, really struggling in this time period. So I was literally just dreaming about that pay raise every single day. Like, I knew I had it. The assistant general manager is telling me how he's rooting for me. The person who was interviewing me is the one that pushed me to go for it. So when they called me, didn't even have the decency to call me when she told me she had me wait like a whole week, and then pulled me in the office. I was literally ready to cry. I'm just like, whatever. And even though I took it really hard, I was very suicidal. I literally wrote letters to every single person I loved. I wrote a note to my sister. I wrote one to my fiance. That's pretty much it. But, and I think I wrote a generalized one. But the thing is, I wrote notes. I had it all planned out, and I was literally acting it out. I was doing it. I had decided I just could not live with this pain anymore. And unfortunately, that's the reality for a lot of us with BPD, who really feel connected to a job, because it's not easy for us to feel connected to a job. Like I said, a lot of us have problems with job hopping, but that's not always because of us. It's because of circumstance, the shitty jobs we find ourselves into. We can be impulsive with choosing a job, or, life circumstances can make us have to just not be choosy with picking a job. So obviously we're going to be leaving jobs we cannot stand to be in. And I was actually talking with another lady that I interviewed with borderline personality disorder. And she said that she had to cut her hours back because she became very depressed and suicidal because it just became too much. And also the work-life balance culture that is created in America is just, for a lot of us, it's just impossible for us to manage that. I know I could not do it. But anyways, so yeah, I was very suicidal with that. But luckily, I didn't follow through with it completely. I didn't finish it. I didn't die, over a job. But it's just not worth it, That's what you have to remember. No job is worth your life. If they don't see your value, you have to do the hard work and know your value and find someone who will recognize your value. Because a lot of jobs won't. Like, she literally picked her just because she was her friend. That was it. And then, so I still worked there. I pulled my pants up. I just put my adult hat on and continue to work there. I pushed through, but I was so miserable. I'm just like, I don't see any future here now. I can't do this. I was crying at work every day. I stopped doing all that hard work for sure. If nobody else is doing it, I'm not doing it. But then because I stopped doing it, they started cracking down and saying, oh, nobody's working. Nobody's doing the stuff they were supposed to do, and making up new rules and be just acting crazy because no one was doing it. I'm like, but no one's been doing it for months except for me. So fuck that. You gave it to the supervisor who's not doing anything. Would literally spend her time in the back shopping on her phone the whole time. But your hardworking guy right here, nah, you just continue being you. And I've learned that's because they don't want their hard workers to move up. They want them to stay hardworking and make them a lot of money. It's as simple as that. Luckily, I have a very supportive partner and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. He's like, quit. Just like, don't tell me that because I will. And I did not cold quit this one. I put in a 2 weeks notice, which they did not honor. They just was like, okay, don't come to work anymore. I'm like, good. But I sent them a 2 weeks notice with the email and CC'd everyone and told my boss how she lied to me in my interview about her expectations of her staff and how she did not have a great staff. And it was all bullshit, and deuces, I'm out. I don't want to be here. So yeah, that's how I bowed out of there. But I was proud of myself because, one, I wasn't disrespectful. I didn't cuss. I didn't scream, which I have done before. And I did not cold quit, that's what I call just walking out, which I am famous for. But I did put in my 2 weeks notice. So, but that's like the story of, I just wanted to tell that story because that's like, that has been my main reason for not tolerating jobs. Not like because no one will see the value I provide. And that's not like being stuck up like, oh my God, I know I'm good. I mean, I know, I know I'm good. I'm give everything I have to give. I work and set goals. Usually a lot of people, they don't care, but BPD, we care. Okay. So we're also, faced with that need for validation. So we want to work extra hard so we can feel appreciated, so we can feel validated when they're like, wow, you did a really good job. Wow, you're a really hard worker. Wow, I've never seen anybody like that. That just takes you up there. So that's basically what, for me, that's what I achieve a lot. Also, a lot of us had parents that were just like perfectionists and expected perfect from you, and anything less than was just trash. So we were driven by that need to be perfect, which is exhausting. So that's another reason why we struggle with maintaining jobs, because we will burn ourselves out to death, which I have also done. I worked at a call center, which was also a very good job. Really sad that I ruined that. But me and my friend were planning a trip to Florida. Rest in peace, Nita. I love you so much. I miss you. We were planning a trip to Florida, and we were working at a call center, and we were just like, oh yeah, we're going to grind really hard and put that work in. We had worked, good God, I think it was like 120 hours in 2 weeks. So like 60 hours each week. No, it wasn't that, because it was a 2 week period that this happened. So I think I put like 80 or 90 hours in 1 week. That doesn't sound right. I don't know. I worked a shit ton. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I worked a shit ton 1 week. Constant overtime, because they had like this way, like there was no cap on overtime because they were always short. You could just pick up shifts left and right. You didn't have to call nobody. It was all on an app. So we were just like constantly doing it together, like picking up shifts left and right. Well, then came the crash for me, and I became so depressed. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was sneaking out of my window because I was sure that my entire family hated me. Literally jumping from my window. That was not at ground level, okay? And climbing through my window just to avoid my family. Because I was sure they hated me. Just that paranoia that seeps in when you get depressed. And I was so low, it's very hard for me to see I'm depressed. It just seems like, I don't know, suckish, I guess. But so I got so depressed, I wasn't going to work. I was constantly calling out. I forgot where I was at. Oh, but yeah, so I was literally jumping out of windows, climbing through windows, trying to hide from my family. I wasn't going to work. I was calling out literally every single day, or I would go to work and then make up excuses for why I had to leave early. Thank you, Mother, for being the excuse for that. But I just could not stand to be there. And so that burnout that we can do from, either trying to give a job our all, putting the job first, or like I was doing, just trying to work extra hard so that way I could have some money so I could afford this vacation. That it's not worth the burnout that comes, because then I had no job. Oh, well, I did go back to McDonald's. So I left that job and I quit and I went to McDonald's. Thought that would solve my depression. Obviously it did not. But I met some good people at McDonald's, and that started my next round. And that's usually I last about 3 months when I job hop, and I usually don't stop working in between jobs. I start looking for a new job, and then I get one, and then sometimes I'll work two jobs at once for a little bit, and then I'll get burnt out, and then I'll quit the old job. Or I'll just be like, fuck this job, I'm out, and then go to the next job. But if you're like me, first I just want to say it's perfectly fine to change jobs as much as you need. If you can't, we all have our reasons for why we change jobs. But you should never let a job make you so depressed that you want to end your life. You should never give so much of yourself to a job that you are constantly putting your life on the back burner and you're putting your mental health on the back burner. And that's the thing with these jobs, because I was literally crying in my manager's office, and they're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, none of them respect mental health. They act like it's not a thing. And they try to dehumanize you and make you feel bad, like you're the person that's wrong for needing extra time. I'm sorry, but we have borderline personality disorder. We don't function like everybody else. It's a lot more mentally draining just to be us, because the constant, anxiety, the constant fear, the constant pressure we feel, that's all using up our mental capacity. So that's why at the end of the day, you could be mentally drained. But if you try to tell them that, they act like they don't care. But this isn't about how jobs need to change. This is because at the end of the day, we can't control everything. The only thing we can control is ourselves. And that's why I say it's okay to quit jobs. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for that. I was constantly being put down for that. Which, I get, because, a lot of people, they're taught, just stick it out. You just stick it out. But I'm sorry, you're not going to talk to me any type of way. You're not going to treat me any type of way. And you're going to respect the fact that I have a family and they're my first priority. There's no income worth sacrificing my family, my mental health. It's just not worth it. But I do suggest, when you are thinking about quitting a job, you make a pros and cons list. And you really think about the benefits and the negatives of that job, because it's very easy for us to think that the grass is greener on the other side. And honey, I am here to tell you it is not always. And that does not mean that you should just stick to a toxic environment, just out of fear that something's not going to get better. It's just to really put value and weight onto what's really important. Because if a boss is a dick sometimes, that doesn't mean they're a dick all the time. We all have our days. Versus you could leave that job and get another job and you end up with a sexist, racist, or homophobic boss. But it's just really is this really bad for my mental health, or do I just need a break? Because for me, a lot of the times I just needed a vacation. I just needed a break. I don't need to go anywhere. I just need 1 week where I can just lay in bed and just recover mentally. And that's usually about 3 months. And now that I can recognize that pattern, I can say that, and I'll put in my week's notice, not to quit, for that I'm taking a week off. So that way I can just do things that make me happy, that fulfill me, and that aren't just taking and draining from me. I can relax, I can lay in bed, and I will watch reruns of Grey's Anatomy, okay? That's all I need. A week to binge Grey's Anatomy, and I will be back to good. For some reason, jobs can't respect that, but if they can't respect that, then honey, make that. Your mental health is the number one priority. You can find another job that pays that or better. That does not matter the circumstance. I don't play when it comes to my mental health. And for some reason, society looks down upon that. you only have one life. And it's not here to work for a company that's making millions to your pennies. Okay? So just you definitely do that pros and cons, and weigh out if like to really see if it's a toxic, bad environment, because it's just so important to remember that our minds do play tricks on us, not to invalidate your feelings. Our minds can just warp things and really twist reality. But making a list and really thinking about things and resist that urge to act impulsively is really how you can rewire your brain to think differently and to really understand that there's more than just black and white. It's not just all bad or all good. And then also try talking to your job. I'm not saying put your business out there, because I made the mistake of telling one boss that I had borderline personality disorder, and I thought I could trust them, and they threw it up in my face every time I had a disagreement with them. Because I was working directly under them, and when I give my all, I give my all. So everything I'm doing is to benefit the company. So I'm pitching ideas, I'm doing stuff like this, I'm trying to pick up more workloads, but this guy, oh, you have BPD, I don't know if you can handle it, you're just mad because you have BPD and you're crazy. Fuck. Point is, you don't have to tell them your whole life history, but you can say, I need to work less because I just need time for myself. I just need it. You don't have to give them a reason. You just need to tell them what the fuck is. This is what I need to happen. If you can't give it to me, I will look elsewhere. That's my motto. You don't have to do that, but you can just push to, like, if you need your hours cut, then you need your hours cut. If you can't work weekends, you cannot work weekends. I just don't understand why jobs can't respect the fact that we have families and we have other stuff to do. But okay. It's just the boundaries are very important for us. We tend to push our boundaries for the benefit of everybody else. And honey, these employees do not need you to push your boundaries. They do not need you to let go of them. You stand on those boundaries and they can respect it. That's the only way we stop them from taking advantage of us. And we become yes men. That's our problem. We become yes men because we fear being fired. We fear the repercussions of standing up and protecting ourselves, which should not be a thing, but unfortunately it is. As someone that's always took that risk, I just know what's the worst that can happen. You find a new job. I've never had a problem. I mean, now that I'm looking for, better, I'm being more picky with where I'm employed. It's a little trickier, but still worth it. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We have value. We are not machines. We are not slaves. If you want a robot, go buy a robot, but we are not. So the whole message of this is just to protect your mental health, and really think before you act. I guess I should also address, our problems with authority. And honestly, that's where therapy comes in, because you have to really acknowledge your problem with authority to fix it. And it is very, very hard to acknowledge that. I don't know if it comes with maturity, or just, kind of like with the BPD acknowledgement, kind of something just eventually clicks. But for years, my bosses would tell me, you're going to look back and be like, I was a mouthy little shit. And that I was 18 thinking I knew anything and everything. And, I definitely did not. And I definitely didn't understand the fact that there was a way to do everything. There's a process, and I can't get what I want immediately. That immediate gratification was very hard for me to understand. Or delayed gratification. but I wanted my suggestions to be heard and enacted immediately. And that nobody would do, obviously. I'm an 18-year-old kid. But I was just very argumentative. I would yell and get my point across. Anytime I felt like I was being disrespected, I was set off. And to me, I didn't see a problem with it. What do you call it? I validated my actions by blaming like the pain they were causing, which really they weren't causing. It was just more like it was my reaction, and that's what I couldn't understand. I wanted to kind of like control the situation. Like, how dare you call me out my name? How dare you talk to me like that? How dare you not respect the fact that I'm 5 minutes late because this happened? How dare you not respect the fact that I'm late for my lunch because I wanted to finish eating my food? Or how dare you get mad that I'm mad at a customer because they pissed me off? It was always really just about how people made me feel. So that's what how I would validate my actions. Like, they hurt me first, so I have a right to react. And that kind of like brings me back to that car incident when I had the realization that I was the reckless driver when someone cut me off. I had become the reckless driver because I was reacting to an outside force just because they made me feel some type of way from a small action that should not have had that much power on me. That's what I was doing all around me at these jobs. I was screaming, fighting, and kicking. Anytime I felt any type of pain, they were feeling it too. I mean, I was cussing out almost every customer at McDonald's. Straight up refused to take your order. They called me out my name because people are rude as fuck. And I wasn't doing it. So my boss had to come between me and so many customers. But the point is, I was just reckless, and I didn't understand that there was a way to do things. There was a way to take things, and I really wanted to control the situation I was in, which once I let go of the control and accepted life for what it was, I couldn't recognize that I just needed to stop reacting. I felt, and which is common with a lot of us with BPD, like you feel this burning rage to react. Like, you have to react. Or like, what could happen if I don't react? It feels like you're going to explode, literally explode if you don't react. But I'm here to tell you that you will not explode. That feeling will pass. And it's really crazy that we feel like that because, that is pretty accurate. Like, I feel like I'm exploding from the inside. Like, it's just going to burst with anger. But letting go and acknowledging the fact that you can't control them. And no matter how much you scream, yell, you can't influence the way they think. That's not getting anything across. Now, if you have a calm discussion like, hey, I felt really triggered or I felt really disrespected when you said that to me, or the way you said that to me, I just rubbed me the wrong way. And if they can't accept that, then fuck them. You don't got to deal with them. But most people would be like, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. I didn't mean to make you feel that way, or I'm sorry, I acted like that. I reacted like that. They were reacting to an outside force. They were reacting without actually thinking. Shit happens. We all make mistakes, but it's the point of acknowledging our mistakes and owning up to that, which not everybody can do, but you can't control that. And letting go of that control really has a big impact on our ability to hold a job. Because you have to understand you can't control the whole job. That was me. I'm yelling orders. I'm telling everybody what to do. It's my way or the highway. Like, I'm not even a manager at this point. Just letting go of the control and realizing that, not everybody's out to get you. It's not personal. Yes, bosses can be a dick. I was a boss dick at some point. But, communicating what's going on is very effective to fixing the workplace, and really working on our communication skills and how we react. It's just so important. So just the next time you're in that situation where you want to react to a customer, you want to react to a boss, just breathe and just think about it. Walking away is honestly best for us, which a lot of people don't like, but fuck, give me a minute or you're going to get your ass bitten off, because I should have said head. You're going to get your head bitten off. Like, do you want me to take a minute, or do you want me to cause the whole fucking scene for 30? Your choice. But I've never had an issue with, like, I just need a minute. I need a minute. I really show my emotions on the outside, so people can usually tell when I'm really fucking pissed off. So by the time I'm saying I need a minute, they're pretty much aware of I need a minute. That's about all I have. To sum up today's episode, basically, don't think before you react. Make lists before you just quit, and really work on ourselves to better ourselves to maintain jobs. It's hard work to work on ourselves. It's very hard work to acknowledge, our own faults, where we fall short, or what we can do. But instead of looking at it as a negative way, think about it as in a positive way. Like, we're working on ourselves. We're bettering ourselves to make our lives better. Just because you did something wrong in the past does not make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human. We all make mistakes. The thing is, you learn from it, acknowledge the mistakes. Sorry, got a notification. Just acknowledge the mistakes and do better. That's the whole point. That's the whole goal. It's just to improve. So by working on ourselves, acknowledging how we can better survive in the workplace is just essential for us, because we gotta work. We have to work. We have to live. And also, if you really can't figure it out, do your own thing. Figure out how you can start a business. I'm very for that. But I'm here also to tell you that is not always the answer. I still get that regular cycle of depression, and I had a business that was doing very, very well. Until I got so depressed, I just couldn't do anymore. So I shut it down. But I'm here also to tell you that I'm starting it back up thanks to my podcast merch. I have got back into my crafting business. So check out bluehazecrafts.com. It is my handmade stuff. I have been doing stuff for, I've been big on crafting since I was like 15 in high school. But yeah, so stay tuned. Check that out. I have some awesome stuff dropping soon. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram there. But yeah, so if you feel like the workplace just isn't for you, start a business, figure out what you love and get passionate into it and just sell it, Don't be scared. Don't hesitate. Just do you. You're amazing. You're all amazing. And I'm sure you'll figure it out. And, also remember, don't stay miserable. You'll find the job you love eventually. You'll figure out what you love. And that just comes from finding yourself, knowing yourself, and learning about yourself. Because, a lot of us with BPD, we didn't have a chance to do that as a child. So that's also why we job hop, because we don't know what the fuck we want to do with our lives. We're just accepting jobs left and right because, ooh, this looks interesting. That looks interesting. I might like to do that. Well, cool. Try it out. Test it all out. Find yourself. But that's all I have for you guys this week. I absolutely love y'all. Subscribe if you want for that $3 a month extra bonus content. I have some great stuff lined up for that. If not, cool. You can still support the show by dropping a comment, hitting that follow button, and sharing the word. I love y'all. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for watching. See y'all next week.
Abundance flows to me when I get out of my own way. Life is so easy when I focus on what is great. I am worthy of reciprocated energy. I am worthy of a love that loves as deep as me. I am worthy of aligning with my higher self. I am worthy